The title of this session is Having It All, recorded July 4th, 1966.
The path we're on is from here on until we make the goal. That's the first point I'd like to make. We're on this path until we are infinite. Second, we can do this lifetime. Now, generally, it takes many, many, many lifetimes for the great, great majority of people to make it. However, we can do it this time for two reasons. First, we are an unusual group. Second, we have the right direction to make it this lifetime. So that if we ever come back in the future, it's by choice. It's not by necessity. Usually those of us who want to help others to that point will come back just to help others. But that's a matter of individual choice, what we do. The main thing is to achieve that state. Now, becoming master over life is really a basic and necessary step, through which we learn that we are not the victims in life, but we are the masters. After we master the ways and means of making our environment the way we want it, then we look beyond. No matter how happy we make our life, if it's involved in livingness itself, it'll never satisfy us. Because our real state is that of being infinite. And being happy in life and living has limitations. Are there any questions on that? I've sort of brought us up to date. Now I'll go into what I think should be our direction in the future. We have to become more universal. We should let go of our own livingness to the point where we can live outwardly more for others. If we are universal beings, we must be universal beings. Every human being is me, is the way we should feel. You are me, is the attitude we should have toward all people. Now, I use the word attitude. We can't help the world by giving them things. There's just too much needed. But we can give them that which is much more than things. We can begin giving them the knowledge that we are getting. And our attitude should be one of wanting to help everyone who wants help. and never helping those who don't want it. That's imposing upon them. We should try to help just those who cross our path. We don't have to extend ourselves into directions, because people will just fall into our lives. They'll ask us questions. And as we give them the answers, we find that certain people will feel that you are giving them the right answers, that you are helping them, and they'll ask more. And it's really an obligation to answer questions of people who come to you sincerely, seeking the right direction. As we begin to live outward and think less of our little self and more of the other one, we are helping no one but ourselves. The world sees it differently. They would probably interpret it as we helping the other one. But there's no other one to help but ourselves. And actually, we get the greatest benefit. And we'll never make it unless we have this feeling of compassion, of oneness with everyone, with a wish that they too know what we know. So to repeat, we have gotten to the point where we have learned how to control life and make it happier. Now we should try to make it happier for others who want it. This does not mean stopping our own growth. That we never stop. We keep working for our own further growth. But at the same time, we help others. Every living soul wants peace. They're all seeking it, happiness, peace. Therefore, if you would expect it, it would come to you.
Expect peace, then I have peace.
Expect to want to help people find this peace.
Well, define, you spoke of love and compassion. Define what it means to you.
Well, love is only understood when you love. Compassion is understanding what the other one is going through. Compassion is understanding what the other one is experiencing. But the emotional part sort of comes automatically if you live to see the other ones happy. Practicing that way of life would bring tremendous amounts of happiness. The basic point I tried to get across was what to do now that life has become happier. And the next step is to live more outwardly, if you can. Live for others. Live more for others. This is another way of saying, see God in everyone. See them as perfect. Then you help them most. Feel that everyone is you, because there is only you, there is only God. And God is that which I am. Really. The basic absolute truth is what? There is nothing but an absolute perfect oneness. That is I. So someday you reach a point where you just think and things happen. Someday you go beyond that. You just know the perfection and there's nothing to think about. Everything is perfect. Therefore, there's no thought required. Everyone makes it. Everyone does. But in terms of time as we now know it, the great, great majority will make it in over 1,000,000 years from now. And we can do it this lifetime. And we should. We're all moving in that direction. The very greatest of the sages are still here. Some in body, some not in body. Leading us on, whether we're aware of it or not. And all we need to do is to open ourselves to their help, which is the most powerful help there is. And we'll get full realization this lifetime. I try to follow them. If you follow me, you're following them. I take my guidance from them through me to you. So we're all moving in that direction, but this group is moving much, much, much faster than the great majority of people are. Imperturbability is an indication of how far we have gotten. Can I be disturbed? Can I be annoyed? If I can, I must eliminate that. We should get to the place where no one and no thing can annoy us. But effortlessness does show how far we have gone on this path. I think a better indicator is peace. How peaceful am I? The greater your peace, the further you've gotten. your attitude should be the same toward good and bad. If it's good or if it's bad, where is it? It's in the world of limitation. We want to transcend limitation. The good thing is the other side of the coin of a bad thing. It's all in this dream world, illusory world of limitation, good and bad. So after we learn how to make our life good, then we should look upon good and bad as the same thing. It's the opposite side of the same coin. It's all part of the illusory world. But our attitude toward the world is expressed in the highest in what I said about the body. What I said about accepting good and bad the same way. What is it good for? What is it bad for? This body. Things that are good and bad are for this body. Aren't they? But we are so much more than this body. We are immortal. We are perfect. So these things don't touch us. So our attitude should be the same toward good and bad. Have an attitude of, it doesn't affect me. I'm eternal. I'm immortal. Nothing can affect me. So that attitude toward the flat tire should be applied all the way up to the body. We have been making life better. Now that we can do that, we shouldn't care whether it's better or worse. Because we are not it. We are not limited by it. This is a big step. Our attitude toward good and bad should be the same. Right? Do not identify with what's happening out there. It's all in my own consciousness. So what's the difference whether I think a good dream or a bad dream? It's all my consciousness. It's necessary that you apply what you learn. You have to do it. I can't do it for you. I'm just pointing out the way you should go. You have to go it. And therefore, I have to step away so that you can swim on your own. I'm telling you how to swim in the right direction. You have to do it. If I were to stay, you would develop a dependency relationship. You would feel good while I'm around. You would unconsciously attach that to me. You would not do on your own nearly as much as when I leave you, and then come back, in and out. I give you the theory. You get your lab course when I leave in the world. I leave you, and the world bumps you. Every time it bumps you, it makes you think. You think in this direction. But what you read is also true. You do need the assist, the confirmation, the reestablishing of the basic truths and directions. But you get that each time I come. Someday there'll be no need to listen to anyone. Also, there's only a certain amount that we absorb at a time, or each time. Now, there isn't a time that I don't give you the whole thing before I leave. Many times, right? The whole thing. But it takes time to digest. It takes time to work it out in practice. So I say you're getting an excellent way of my coming and going. There's no dependency relationship set up. And this dependency relationship is a thing that happens when people are with a teacher all the time, which holds them back. Now, what I'm saying might not be 100% so. If we had, say, a setup where we all lived together in one point, actually all lived together right in the same place, this teaching could go on all the time. You would get your practice working with each other. Like you and Ken sometimes would. He would practice letting go of those feelings of opposition until there was none. In other words, the world would be right with you in your friends. See, the way out of the world is through it. Isolation isn't good until you have completely renounced the world, until you have gotten to the place where you see nothing in the world that you want anymore. You know that your happiness does not lie in the world. Then isolation is all right. You have no more desires for the world. Then you may isolate. But until then, growth is faster and better in the world. Should you isolate before you reach that point, you are escaping. You're running away from the world. And that's very bad. But it wouldn't surprise me someday to see us all living together in one place, and this growth going on all the time.